One of the reasons to go into ICREP was to address a lot of this human resource dysfunction, because they actually require you to do a little bit more. They have resources for human resources development. They have resources for the board. They have attorneys that specialize in employment law. Idaho is unique in terms of the way in which we adjudicate employment law. It is my motion that this board return human resources and risk underneath the prosecutor's office at this time, and note that it actually technically, if you listen to the tape, never followed through with bringing it before the board to vote on a Tuesday meeting. This was a special meeting where a statement was made that it should come forward. So that's my motion.
Is there a second?
No, there's not.
There is no second. The motion dies.
Can I ask the chair a question, please?
The motion is dead, and we are moving on to the next agenda item.
Oh, come on.
But I asked if I could ask you a
And you,
question. Can I ask you a question, which is, so what you're doing is not beneficial, because you want to follow Robert's rules, and I'm supposed to be able to say, can I ask you a question? So that I could be recognized by the chair to specifically ask you a question. So if you want to follow the process and have the decorum that you crave, you would say, yes, Commissioner Williams, what's your question? That's what your answer should be. And if it isn't, it's exactly why HR doesn't belong under this board, because that is ridiculous. Shuffle your papers and put us all at risk for pride. Your job as chair, per everything I've shown today, is to encourage the deliberation, to encourage the discussion, while concurrently maintaining the decorum. The idea that I second every time, I say I second to advance it for discussion, because that is what I owe the people so that we can discuss the issue. And you're not doing that, yet you guys paddle back and forth with who's chair. And it's not fair to the people. This is a real question, and there are real employees that deserve to hear us talk about why we're not going to move it, why you're not going to follow legal advice, why you will not recognize me to speak.
Commissioner
I don't
Williams,
care
I'm
at
going to
this
step.
point.
It's
Go ahead and take another
11:22,
break.
and we will recess for.
Oh,
2 minutes.
again?
Stop it.
You don't like what she says, so you have to leave the room?
No,
That-
I'm here the whole time.
How the rules apply to all three of us.
Yeah, but you're not allowing her to represent
You guys
us.
listened to the preacher this
This
morning
item
who
has
said,
already been discussed.
devil-
No, it has
It was
not.
already voted on.
No, it has not.
For a second of time to the agenda doesn't change the vote. It is always,
It is always you two ganging up against her.
that's your opinion.
That is a fact. Would you like me to show the videos? It is a fact.
you're power tripping. Woke up.
Well, let's look at
Power,
this.
power, power.
Let's look at this, Monica.
Yeah, let's look at
Let's look
this.
at it. Now, 3 people make up the Board of Commissioners, but we're constantly
Obviously, it's 2
referred
people
to
right now.
as the board, and the other one is basically claiming she's not a part of the board. It's a team effort.
A team.
You are not
And you
always
don't
going to get
listen.
your way.
That's not a team, Steve.
What's the point of standing there? Why can't we just go back and finish the meeting?
You don't have to tell him how to control himself. He's an adult. He's the chairman.
Actually, I get tired of
He has it
sitting.
muted.
He gets tired of sitting. I wonder if we could all get up and wander around in the meeting.
Outside. I'm more than
You
willing.
don't have to go hide. You can talk about it. in
He's
front of
not hiding. He's not hiding.
Oh, he is.
Microphone.
You're not representing the people in the county when you cut off at least a third of them by cutting her off.
I didn't cut her off.
Oh, come on, Steve. You have done that so many times, and now you've instructed Luke to do it for you.
Sherry, in the last 2 weeks, he has his puppet.
Right. No, I get that. Like I say, he's instructed Luke to do it for him. You know, good boy, rookie. Wasn't that the comment? We all know what's happening, and you just look worse every single week. Don't you want to start looking a little bit better?
As to how I look to you, I don't give a rat's ass.
Well, you know,
You're
it's not.
important to me whatsoever.
I'm just your
Truth is
constituent,
as
right?
far from you as it is from Sheriff Wheeler.
Father can't see that he's calling the kettle black.
One thing you can accuse me of, you can dream up whatever you want to, but lying ain't one of them.
Oh, yes. You asked me once how many times you've lied to me, And I said, as my pastor and as my commissioner, you've lied to me. That's why you're no longer my pastor.
Show me.
Oh, I would
Show
be
it.
happy to.
Well, you're gonna have to make it up.
No, he is not.
No, I don't have to make it up. I have got
You know better
documents.
than that.
I've got documents and video.
Well, throw it out there then.
Yeah, right here
Knock
with
yourself
everybody,
out.
or would you like
the
me to
other
just
stuff
tell
you
you about it?
publicize.
What?
Like all the other stuff you throw out there. You make it up as you go along, or you buy
No,
whatever somebody
no.
throws at you.
You make it up as you go along. You've come up with another master
You're
that
right.
doesn't
It
live
is all
above you.
video.
I didn't say that, she did.
So, y'all can accuse me of anything you want to, but lying ain't one of them.
Oh, yes.
Sorry, I'm gonna go throw up.
This way across the state.
All right, we're still off.
Yeah, we're still off. We
I
got
just, okay. The reason we went out of the room, I'm speaking for a whole bunch of people in this county that think that the commissioners have gone over their head in taking the Human Resources Department away from where it's now at. And it looked to me like a conflict of interest. It really did. And a whole bunch of us. But I asked Luke to go outside, and he did show me where there's a statute for the state of Idaho that gives them that power, although they didn't allow all three commissioners.
The question isn't, do you have the power? In our particular, you have to go case by case. And so what you have in Bonner County is a recommendation. And so what is the best answer is to turn around to the elected prosecutor, because he gave the board a recommendation. And it isn't about, do you have the power to do something? Is it the right thing for the county? We pay a lot of money out on lawsuits related to human resource issues. And so some of that has been from boards. So this wasn't a decision for this board. We didn't decide. It was actually already that way. So if the prosecutor, who's charged with defending whatever this is called, recommends that HR not be under it, it's actually in my best interest, whether I agree with him or not, actually to follow it, because then he made the decision and the risk is under him. It doesn't make sense to absorb risk unnecessarily when our legal recommendation is to not be over the board. And if you look at the history of this conversation, it has come up week after week after week. And I will tell you very clearly, it is not in our best interest, and we don't need to. We are not, human resources is huge. We are not experts in this. And so why do we clearly have enough stuff to work on. We don't need to add another thing.
That was my point to him.
But Lewis Marshall is back there. He does not recommend that we take over
We just talked
HR.
about that. This is, if it makes any difference to you guys, Steve, the whole county foresees this as a power move from the two of you to be over something that you don't really need to be over. Okay, and we're off the record.
Well, for everybody that's worked for the county longer than 5 years, including Mr. Marshall, Deputy
Including
Griffel,
those of us that have been here 20, and we've seen
And-
what's happened in the
Yeah.
past.
and human resources and risk has traditionally always been under the BOCC. But because of some dynamics
Correct.
and issues 3.5 years ago,
That's
to
right.
avoid the conflict, we moved it over to the prosecutor.
And now you think
Those
it should-
conflicts are gone. Those people no longer exist in the county. Now it's coming back
Now there's
where it
other
originally sets and where state statute recommends it should be.
Yeah, it's back.
Doesn't pass the lab test.
What is unfortunate is, it is the recommendation that we actually have a discussion. And so as we move into the next agenda item, when there wants to be a discussion on bringing things back multiple times, the reason it has to come back multiple times is because of refusing to have the meaningful discussion. Robert Rules of Order says the minority voice on the board has that right of deliberation. That is what the goal is. And so if you were to actually deliberate the issue exhaustively as per the recommendation, if you use that, you don't need to bring it back because you went through the whole thing the first time. But every single time, and all you gotta do is watch Zoom. How many thousands of times did we bring back Zoom until we actually got the change? And it was because we had to deliberate on the plus and the minus. Deliberation is not arguing, it's a discussion. And you can be on opposing ends of an issue and actually have meaningful discussion that allows you, even if you don't agree, that you can understand somebody's thought process. To not actually have the discussion is not appropriate for Robert Rules of Order, it's not appropriate for our county, or as the chairman of the board. And it's not, doesn't make us look good. We've taken 2 recesses while we tell people we care about the work people have to do. We've just taken break after break because you don't want to have a deliberation. It's ridiculous.
$22? Yes.
Are you editing the audio?
I pause it when it's recess.
Good thing I
You
didn't.
are supposed to vote to recess.
That is incorrect.
You don't just say you recess.
That's for you, Madam Clerk.
So recesses are just to run out when the comments are not what you like?
Is there a reason this wasn't in the packet, or?
I'll address it on the agendized item, and it is in the packet. It's on the agenda.
It's on the agenda, the memo wasn't in the packet.
I was writing it this morning, similar to not having a motion that is ever placed by yourself. I actually provided so that it's on the record. Ms. Gunter, thank you.
So the reason I ask is we made a decision that we would allow the people to have the packet of information. So if you're handing it to me, then I think we have to hand it to the public because we actually voted that. So in as much as I can appreciate the comment, that was the reason I was asking. So I think we have to give them a copy.
It is. Thank you for your.
I'd like a copy.
You can have one. It will be.
Can I have it now?
It will be a matter of the public record. If Commissioner Williams would like to give you her copy, that is her choice.
No, I want
All right,
your copy.
It is 11:32, and we will continue with the meeting of the Board of County Commissioners. The next agendized item is a discussion and action and decision regarding Robert's Rules of Order and the adoption